So yesterday I turned 20 years old, and at the age of 19, I made $500,000 online in revenue. I probably profited around 350K, there or thereabouts, running a growth operating agency. And I wanted to make a raw YouTube video, sit down, just talk about the lessons that I have learned, share some stuff with you, what I've done to get here, what I am planning to do in the future to continue scaling, because I'm doing a lot of cool stuff and I want to document it. And I think this will be of value for a lot of people who are on similar journeys or want to do similar things. So I'm going to start with the mistakes that I made this year, because there were so many. So, oh my God, June 11th last year, when I turned 19, I was still closing, and I really wasn't running I wasn't running a business in any way. And I thought I was doing well. I was making like 10, 15K a month, but I wasn't working on the right things. I didn't have the right skills. And something that enabled me to do that was going to a mastermind. I'm actually hosting my very own event for clients in Marbella in a month's time, which is going to be really interesting. But that kind of put things in motion for me. In terms of mistakes I made, number one is not doing that sooner, not pushing myself to learn more sooner and put myself in an uncomfortable situation sooner to have more growth. Number one. Number two is trying to do so much around tax, around investing. Investing, great. Like, I actually didn't spend too much time on it. More so tax, like trying to optimize everything about my tax, trying to optimize this, trying to optimize that, and not actually realizing that my time, the highest leverage I think I could have been doing with my time, was making more content or working on my business rather than trying to save $1,000 here, $2,000 there. It's the same principle when it comes to even spending money and traveling and all of these things. I just didn't focus enough on the needle moving tasks. And so that's something that I've really committed to, especially over the last couple of weeks, that has been super impactful. I also lost sight of my reasons, I would say. I would definitely say my mental health took a downturn, especially in the throughout the year, to be honest, where I really saw myself only optimizing around the goal of making more money. Because that's what I was, I was basing myself, like I wanted to say I hit the next revenue number. I wanted to say I made this much, or I did this, or I did that. And I sacrificed health, I would say 100%. I sacrificed sleep and health, training, in the gym and all of that kind of thing. And what it actually made me realize, I had a realization of I had a really big day in business, but I just didn't feel good about my health. I think I went for a run and I was just super slow, and I'd always kind of prided myself on being relatively quick. And I realized that no amount of money that I can make, and personally the reason why I make money, like I don't spend a lot of money. I don't really have a strong selfish reason to make a load more money now, like make hundreds of thousands of dollars like I've done. The reason I'm doing what I'm doing is to be able to provide for my family. Like that's like the main reason. And I want to buy my own house. I want to do all of these things, but I was so entangled in that I let go of what was most important, which was my health, my mental health primarily, and also my physical health along the year. And I also, through the stress of a lot of work, like bad habits kept resurfacing. One of them being binge eating, which is really weird for me. I was just like sometimes just like putting myself in like a carb coma just to like not have to work. And I didn't take enough rest from work, but then that meant that when I did work, a lot of the times I was just task switching, not very productive, working for the sake of working, which is something that especially over the last 2 weeks I have found so much more peace with, just internally, knowing what I need to do, knowing what I should be focusing on. And I'm very blessed to have some amazing friends and mentors and people in my life who've been able to, or even just from seeing what they've done, I have been inspired myself to be a lot more peace. Also, I've been going back to the roots of self-improvement a lot more in terms of, and this is kind of corny to say now, but a few years ago, I was really like, I was meditating every day, I was journaling, and I've gone back to that a lot in terms of also, tracking my health more seriously. I got I got my bloods done recently, and all of these things, which are non-negotiable and will actually help me make more money in the future. Another one of the mistakes I would say I made maybe is traveling too much. I don't think I regret the traveling that I did, but it definitely impacted my ability to work and concentrate and be in one consistent place and build habits and build routines. It had a negative impact on that for sure. Now, I think there's always that argument of like, do you want to balance, have a balanced life and travel and experience things, or would you want to just hustle and work and do as much business as possible? But I think I was able to balance it well in some cases, but I didn't enjoy, like I was traveling and I should have just enjoyed that because that's what I was doing. But I always had that nagging sense in the back of my mind, because sometimes I would just have like episodes where I just watch YouTube. I wouldn't be productive in the times that I just wasn't doing anything working. And so I didn't allow myself to be happy and enjoy the times where, of course, I should take time off. So I have really focused on that balance. And I don't think it's something people speak about enough, because no one really thinks about what they want. Everyone is very, very quick to be able to tell you their goals of 100K a month. But that's not what they want normally. Like, does Louis actually want that? Or is that something that I want because I want someone else's validation? Because it's a goal that I've seen someone else have and I'm like, oh, I want what they want. Most of the time it's that. So really understanding myself and understanding the reasons behind why I do what I do has been immensely impactful for me over the last 2 weeks. And the reason I'm making this video is because the last couple of weeks since I've been back home have been just so positive for me, in every regard, that it's made, I mean, it's been really changing just positively, for my mental state, and just overall being able to walk, being able to be in nature and be with family has been amazing. Now, onto some more technical and practical stuff for my business model, growth operating, consulting, coaching, all of that stuff. So the number one thing that the number one thing this year that changed was having an amazing and recruiting and training an amazing team by my side for the agency, and also that consulting and licensing clients have access to. It's just amazing. Just yesterday, my birthday, day off completely. I worked on a few things that I wanted to work on that were personal projects that I have, and didn't check Discord, Slack, and things ran as smoothly as you can hope. And that's like one of the first times I've been able to see that for my own business. I've been able to implement systems for other businesses, but I'm really, really happy with the team that we have, and it gives me so much hope for the future. So anyone running any sort of agency, especially a growth operating agency, team is number one as you scale. Like, it's very easy to get to the point where you're making 10 to 20K a month by yourself just through hard work, but it takes a different kind of skill and everything like that to be able to recruit and motivate and put the right people into place to replace you in the day-to-day for the most part. Another thing that has been huge for us is control. Now, I've had to give away control to people on my team, right? But then in the growth operating model, I don't have control over how quickly my clients record ads. Yes, I can incentivize them. Yes, I can tell them to record ads, but I don't have direct control. I don't have control over if they want to stop their offer and we've put in months of work into it, it's finally kicking off and they're like, no, don't want to do this anymore. Not that that's happened to us, but I sometimes don't even have control if they'll pay me. Like, there was a client this year who just didn't pay us. I was just like $4,000. And what it made me realize is, I think moving forward for us, at least for the year that I'm going to be 21, which is this year, until I'm 21, which is for the next like 12 months, we're going to be moving very heavily into partnerships and quality over quantity in terms of the clients that we're working with, because it is not worth working with 8 different clients on a 10% tiny rev share, doing all of this work for them and spreading yourself too thin. Like, even for my team, even though I have a team now, their time is so insanely valuable that we are looking to publish more deals or more of like 50-50 splits with creators, like literally starting from scratch in different niches. We're looking to, whenever we take on a client, unless they have a huge organic following, take at least now 20, 30, 40% just on the agency side, because if not, it doesn't make sense. Why would we not continue with the clients that we have really great relationships with, scale them? Also, for me, in terms of my time, why don't I read? Why don't I go to the gym? Why don't I do things that make me happy? Maybe, yes, they don't make me directly more money, or post my own content, like record a YouTube video like this, like I'm doing now, which may sign me clients for my own personal consulting offer. Later this week, I'm going to be running next week, I'm going to be running my first webinar for my own offer. Maybe I'll sign some clients from that. My goal really is just to give as much value as possible. You can sign up, link in the description. But man, control and partnerships, especially when you have the skill set, because something else like over the past year that has been immense is just I have grown so much in my skills, and I've seen other operators or other people who like they kind of cash in on their skills by launching an info offer. And obviously I have like an info offer myself, but it isn't something that I've pushed insanely hard, and the main reason for that is because I've been so dialed in and so focused on the agency clients that we're scaling, and the consulting offer has just been like, oh, I'll post a YouTube video here and there, and there might be some people who want to work with me. Good cash flow, makes me an extra 10-20 grand a month. Nice, cool. I give that to my family. Cool. But the main focus has been the agency, because the more skills and the more things I learn there, the more stuff I can teach to my clients. And I think that's a lesson for everyone in terms of don't switch too soon. Don't look to change model. Don't get shiny object syndrome just because you're going through a little bit of difficulty. And my God, this year we've had clients who have stuck with us through thick and thin, who we've had the highest of highs and lowest of lows. And that's normal, that's business. And when you have a competent team behind you and you know that every day you're going to wake up and just do everything you can and focus on that number one highest leverage task you can do, that's all there is to it. Yesterday, I also ran 20 kilometers, and I might put on screen. So I've done this since I was 18, I've ran the number of kilometers of the age that I'm turning. And I've kind of used it as a time to reflect on the previous year and on my life in general. And it was difficult. You know, it was 20 kilometers. I haven't really trained much. As I said, like my running has gotten a lot worse these last couple of years. And I really wrestled with the pain that it's taken to get to where I am now. Not in a physical sense, you know, not in like, oh, my leg hurts, pain, or I stubbed my toe. More so, and I was on a call with the client as well. Nikita, if you're watching this, shout out to you, because he just said, wow, like you've been in the space for like a year and a half and you've done all of this. It's inspiring. Like he was just saying, it's incredible. And I really like kind of delved into that. You don't want to put yourself on a high horse, but it just made me reflect on how far there is to go, because like, it's great to hear, yeah, you're doing so well and it's incredible what you've done. And I think we've done well, but like to get to the point where we want to get to with the publishing clients that we have, like take our own in-house offer that we've published with a creator as the face to multiple six figures a month, it's going to take a whole nother level of dedication, of pain. And it's something that I know that's going to be infinite in business. I've also I think a lot of people might struggle with like the shiny object syndrome of like, where do I put my cash flow when I am making money? And like, just looking at like, even just hearing stories about other business models, like people doing e-com, and not that I'm going to go into these ventures now, of course not, but there is so much more to learn. And something that the kind of run as well, I was running loops around my house. I was running like a 5K loop and I did that 4 times. And doing that loop made me think of this story. I think it's like no, it's not a parable, or it's a story of Atlas, who is in I think Greek mythology, the guy who has a boulder and he is rolling it up a hill, and his punishment is that every time he gets to the top of the hill with this boulder that he's got on his back, or this stone, he goes back to the bottom, and he just has to keep rolling it over and over again for eternity. And the reason I'm telling this story is because what I realized, and what I kind of felt on this run as well, is like, well, the actual fulfillment isn't in, you know, a certain amount of money made, a certain milestone achieved, because I know the type of person that I am. I will always want to hit the next goal. And that's also why I touched on health. Like, it's so important to have all of this dial, because really the reason that I'm doing this, and like I'm building something hard and going through this pain, and like the reason I mentioned pain is like, oh, it's gonna be so difficult to scale to this level, but that's the enjoyable part. The reason why I want to do it is because it's incredibly difficult, and whether you succeed or not, that's what life is about. It's about doing something difficult and pushing yourself, because no one wants to look back in 10 years and 20 years time when you're a bit older, maybe when you have kids, and tell them, and not even be able to look them in the eye and say, man, I did everything I could. I left everything out there, and I by no means am working as hard as I could. It's something I'm still battling with, but I'm not gonna, this is something I learned from Jeremy Haynes, having met him. He is next level. And something I took away is that you should not lie to yourself. Yeah, you know, I'm doing my best 100 million% every day. I'm not. I could do more. And I'm not going to lie to myself and say that like some people do. But I'm also not going to lie to myself and say, yeah, once I hit 100K a month, then I'm going to be done. I know it's like an everlasting game. And I think that's the beauty of it. That's life. And I think that's what we're here to do, just to improve. And okay, maybe that's not what we're here to do. I haven't maybe got to that layer of thinking yet. But when I reflect, it's like, you know, why won't I do just the best I can? I know that I'm always going to want to work hard and build something cool. And now that I have the right people around me, and I've never been so secure in terms of I've got money, you know, I don't have to worry about next month or next year. I could live for 10 years and probably be okay, even if I didn't make a single dollar now. And having that security means I've been able to think bigger as well. So that's 100% like a huge thing, is get to that level as soon as you can, because then so many more opportunities and doors open. And if you're the type of person who can think and take risks even without that safety net, then more power to you. But be careful at the same time, because another lesson that I've learned this year is, man, everyone in this info space, in this online space, is a pillock for the most part. Not everyone, I'm sorry, that's very rude, but all these people spending so much money to maintain an image doesn't bring you anything. It doesn't. Like, you're not going to be happier for it. You would be happier if you phoned your parents for 2 hours, you know. And man, 2 years ago, I was in a rough place. I was not sure of what I was going to be or what I was going to do, and I'm still not sure. And I don't think I'll ever be sure. But there's one thing that I am sure about, is that I am going to do some crazy stuff this coming year, and for the rest of my life, because I'm just not going to stop. And that's me. I think I'm just not going to stop. And in terms of where I am going to go and plans, like I said, we're going to do a lot more publishing. I'm going to be hosting a few events for clients. This first one is kind of like a test run. I'm not going to make any money from it. Just want to host it, put on an amazing experience, get some amazing content, and see how it goes. And then we're gonna be obviously scaling clients, which is always fun. And I'm just going to work. I'm going to meet my team this summer very soon. The goal is, 100K a month in personal profit, which would probably look something like at least 150K a month in total revenue for the business, because we're operating at probably like a 70% margin at the moment, and that would increase over time for sure. Even maybe that margin, it depends on like what counts as agency revenue. Is me paying my sales manager agency revenue? I don't know. Maybe if I want to laugh, yes. And actually, one more thing I've learned. So yeah, the goal is 100K a month in personal profit, no doubt. I think we'll hit 100K in revenue this calendar year, so by the end of 2026, and then personal profit before my next birthday would be really cool. But to be honest, these numbers are like, we just put numbers on it, but the main thing is impact and enjoying the work that I do, and making sure that the other areas of my life are prioritized. Like, I want to do a half Ironman in the next 12 months. I want to run a sub 25K again. And like, I just have to be able to sacrifice and align my life. But I feel like I've never been so aligned and so on the right straight, and it's just about continuing down that path. But yeah, the other thing I was going to say is cars, watches, all of that stuff is I will buy a fancy car and a fancy watch one day, I'm sure, so I'll probably be eating my words. But it's like with anything, it doesn't make you happier. You still battle with the same thoughts. Whatever revenue level you think is going to make you happy, it's just not. Not that you shouldn't strive for more money. I think money is one of the best things in the world, and you need to have very deep reasons to go out there and make more money. I think it's incredibly important, but don't pretend that it's gonna make you magically, happy if you're battling internally with different things. So yeah, health maxing, definitely something that I'm going to be focusing on. Moving out to Spain, probably to be closer to one half of my family, and spending kind of half of my time in the UK, half my time in Spain. It's going to be pretty cool. And then with content, continuing to push it out, continuing to help as many people for free as possible. Probably going to push a lot of my content more towards agency focused stuff, maybe higher level stuff, because I feel like we want to attract, to be honest, agency clients normally will come from referrals or from outreach, or like even the existing relationships we have are very, very strong. So I don't see them faltering anytime soon. But yeah, this has kind of been a clusterfuck of a video. I had no plan. But yeah, that's me. That's age 20, 500, at 19 years old, made $500,000. And at 18, when I turned 18, I hadn't made a single penny. I started setting a few months later, and here we are now. So what a journey. If you want to sign up for a webinar where I go into detail of like how I growth operate and how to sign clients and that, there'll be a link. It's completely free. I'm going to do a pitch at the end just to warn you, but it's free, and I'm going to give a ton of value on there. And if you're a coach somehow who's watching this, there is a link in the description if you want to partner with our agency too. So yeah, thank you very much for watching.